Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 12, Episode 13. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. Now, I like to just skip to the commitment ceremony because there's a lot of beginning fluff that's just irrelevant, so we're just gonna start there, okay? First on the couch is Tony and Morena. Now, they had an argument because she feels like he has left her out to dry twice now. The first time by leaving the experiment altogether, and the second time by letting her just be eaten by wolves the night before. Now on the couch, the experts are actually pointing out her behavior and saying that she has a part to play in why this relationship has not been going well.
I didn't come on this experiment to feel alone. Tony time in the morning, Tony time at night.
It's just how I am. It's just how I am.
He's Houdini. You've already given me a hard time last night, guys. Really?
What are some of the things that you may have said or done in this relationship that have been bad for the relationship?
I actually don't know.
How might you talk that would push him away?
Well, I'm passionate.
Some might say passionate, others might say abrasive.
Okay.
80% of the problems in your relationship is because of Tony.
Well, yeah.
On the surface, I can imagine how annoying it would be to be with somebody who, 5 days a week is checked out and then literally checks out again for the weekend. What's the point of me trying if when you are here, you're disconnected and then you take even more time for yourself, meaning we're not gonna find some kind of connection between us because we're not giving ourselves the space and the time to do so. I get that. However, Morena, you don't give the man any space to connect. Now, this is us thinking idealistically, not knowing what we know about the rumor or whatever, right? But if this was a relationship that had no outside influence to why Morena could be acting the way that she's acting, taking up all the space in any room that you're in, whether it's just Tony or everybody else, is going to be exhausting for people, and they're not going to want to spend time with you. Even the other people in the experiment, I don't think a single person connects with Morena. It could be an age thing. It likely is a behavioral thing. Her behavior is stank. And even the experts are like, do you see how you argue? You get loud, you point the finger at people. It's very abrasive. It's not welcoming at all. And not to say arguments should be welcoming, but you don't know how to fight in a way that's okay, I'm sharing my opinion, you share your opinion, and let's come to some kind of medium, some kind of level of understanding. No, if Morena's not being understood, if Morena's not being heard, then nobody else is being heard or understood. It's only Morena's voice that matters, Morena's thoughts that matters. It's a lot. It's a lot. She's upset at the group. She's upset at her partner. I'm sure she's upset at the experts. She's just mad at everybody. And so they ask her, do you have anything to be accountable for? And she's like, I don't think I've done anything wrong. I've just been myself. Well, Tony can have that same argument. I've just been myself. And you don't like that. Tony can admit retreating is not productive for his relationship. She got called out on her fight style. And so she starts to realize, okay, maybe I could tone that down a little bit. So we'll see if they're able to mend things. They likely will not. She decided to leave. He decided to stay, which means they're staying. Next on the couch is Jamie and Dave. They're still, it's still happy days for them.
I'm a big personality. He goes, I love that you're so confident. He just knows what I need. And he always celebrates when I am vulnerable. I want to just climb up in that. We can't stop touching each other. I feel safe, I feel secure, I feel happy. Tick, tick, tick. Yes. The whole spark thing is bullshit. The sparks came shooting out of our ass when we sat there and worked every day on building a connection. Got to know each other's core values, and now we're
Yeah.
Jamie brought up a good point about this whole spark thing and how some couples end their relationship too soon because they just can't find that spark in their relationship, or the spark died. And she says that with her and Dave, was it an immediate fireworks situation? No, but attraction was there. And I think that's what people miss. Yeah, the spark can I feel like the spark can come and go, honestly. If that initial attraction is there, like this is the type of person who I find visually pleasing at the very least, and I can see that they have certain characteristics that would match with mine. I want to see where that goes. I think that's the baseline that you should start with in a relationship, and not look for that whole like fireworks, fairy tale right from the get-go. I think you're setting yourself up for failure. That's more so like a lust thing or simply fairy tale. Like I said, like that fairy tale is just a fairy tale. It's not reality. So she says that the spark has been growing over time because they have been working on their relationship. They've been putting in the effort, you know, where he lacks, she supplements, where she lacks, he supplements. I really like how Jamie broke that down. I also like that she keeps joking about being like a boss bitch on the outside, but in here just getting soft, because I feel like online people talk a lot about, oh, women are in their masculine now and da-da-da, whatever. When that person who is for you comes into your life, I feel like you just naturally fall into whatever it is that you want to call it. I don't want to say like divine feminine. I feel like that verbiage is just dumb. But that like, I can be soft around you. I can feel safe. I could be vulnerable. I could be whatever, because I know with you, there isn't like a threat of, oh, I need to step up because my person is lacking, or I need to prove myself because they might have a wandering eye, or just all these things that you need to do in order to feel comfortable in a relationship, because there is a sense of uncomfortability. That natural comfort is there and they've been building on it, and it just gets stronger and stronger every time. Love that for them. Happy to see that things are going well. Next on the couch is Karina and Paul. They are very happy that intimacy week went the way that it did.
I would like to thank you, Alessandra, for the intimacy week. She took the blindfolds off and then she just revealed everything.
I love that you're reenacting it for us.
I did not expect it at all. I did not expect that at all, like at all. I really appreciated that, honestly. It was.
They basically echo the same thing as Jamie and Dave, just figuring out what works in their relationship, and the more they connect, the more they see a future between them. It's really good to see that them rekindling things has been for the better. Even Ree and Jeff, they have that same kind of storyline. Like, yes, it didn't work out the first time around, but now in this isolated situation with people who can help you, it makes it so much easier to connect because it is your sole focus. There isn't, the distractions of your friends or your work schedule or just getting in your head and stuff. And you actually have experts who can like coach you and stuff. I think it's really good that both the couples gave themselves a fair chance coming into this. And so I was thinking to myself, like, is this a sign that spinning the block works? I'm personally not against spinning the block if 3 things are done. Number 1, you acknowledge the past. Because if we're not going to talk about what happened back then, why it went wrong and whatever, I don't think there's even a point in trying to move forward, because it's likely that those things are going to pop back up. But addressing the past, doing your individual work from that time to the time that you rekindled with that person, and then setting a plan in place. If that's done, I wouldn't have a problem with spinning the block. Now, not me personally, because your girl's betrothed. But for anybody else, I don't think it's necessarily like a done deal if things didn't work out the first time around. Give it another try and make it like a genuine try. Clean slate, address the issues, and have a plan of action to make sure that things pan out differently. Jackie and Ryan are next on the couch, and Alessandra immediately calls out the fact that they are a flip-floppy couple. And she also talks about the comments that Ryan made in the intimacy consultation with her. And one of you guys made a good point. This whole grandstanding thing is something that everybody was doing, because, and Alessandra included in this episode, because when Ryan made the comments initially, where was the rebuttal? Even Alessandra a little bit, because I was like, girl, if you were this disturbed, you would have said something back then. But whatever. They're choosing to address it now.
I made a couple of comments which were crass and ungentlemanly-like, and I'm sorry again for that.
Thank you.
And my wife looks beautiful tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Your response wasn't to take ownership of that when you were being confronted by the group. So let's try to understand where the 2 of you are at.
Yeah.
Last night, I observed a variety of different couples. It's the flip-flopping.
There's no point complaining about the past. I guess, I woke up this morning to 2 bouquets of flowers.
You're not machines. It's not simply magically going to be fixed, regardless of the fact that you had chosen to hit that reset button.
This relationship is as fake as their personas. I just don't understand why we are here with them. I don't get it. So both of them came into this experiment saying, you know, they've been through a lot of things in the past and they've done the work to be this confident, self-assured, go-getting type of person that they are today. And it's interesting how from the beginning, I felt like their confidence was a facade. Their confidence is to mask whatever insecurities that they had been dealing with before and seemingly are currently dealing with now, to fake as if, you know, everything's perfect, nothing bothers me, makes me think there's a lot of things that obviously bother you and you are aware that it's not perfect. And so their relationship is reflecting that same thing. They'll have these horrible days together, these horrible conversations, these horrible arguments, and then put on a front like, no, it's all great, guys. We hit the reset button. He bought me flowers. Ugh, don't get me started on these damn flowers. No, I'm started on these flowers. Okay, so I brought this up on Young, Famous, and African because there was this one girl who was clearly being played by her man, and every time he would buy her gifts, she would forgive him for all his transgressions. And I grew up with a mother who would say something to me like, don't get excited over a bag of chips. And what she means by that is somebody should not be able to just buy your love, especially something as cheap as a bag of chips. And this is not to say don't buy your woman flowers, but to think that flowers mends every transgression in your relationship, some gift makes it okay for you to do the things that you do that are obviously bad, but oh, I'm absolved now because I bought a gift. Absolutely crazy. He bought you flowers, so what? What he said was still disrespectful. How you guys both talk to each other is still disrespectful. There's so much these two have to unpack in their relationship if they're going to continue. Now, Jackie then goes and riddles off all these things that make them compatible. She says that she likes him. He says that he likes her. So why won't you guys just sit down, talk about the core issues that you guys are having so that you can finally put it to rest and move on? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's the way that you talk to him. Maybe it's the way that you decide to run the show, and he can't even have the space to put you first because you put yourself first. You put yourself at the forefront of this relationship. How is he supposed to put you there? You put yourself there. Yeah, anyways, this couple to me is just a lost cause. They're just a waste of time, but they decide to stay. Athena and Adrian are next on the couch, and she says that her biggest issue with Adrian right now is the fact that she does not feel seen by him.
Look, Adrian and I have had a very trying week.
Can you explain how it is that you don't feel seen?
Like these little acts of services, like if I am folding your clothes or if I am making the bed. He goes, why are you doing that? A cleaner does that. But that comment made me feel very unappreciated.
And you're sitting here looking at the roof. And now you're smirking and looking at the boys.
Why would I do any of these things now? Why would I want to show up? Because you're telling me we got no future, so what's the point?
Has that ever been said to you before, that you shut people down if they bring up an issue?
No.
When she brings up a problem, you push back and shut down.
She also does that as well. Because it's like, again, when I say anything...
Now you're in point scoring. You have to win every argument.
I don't.
This is what you're doing.
Have you guys noticed that when they're on the couch, anytime that things are like good between them, he will put his arm around her, or like they'll hold hands. He'll put his hand on her knee or something like that. Whenever she says something that he doesn't agree with, he'll take his hand off. And for me, like, actions speak louder than words, even though his words are very clear. Even his words say, I don't like what you're saying. I don't like you, but whatever. She's refusing to listen. His actions are basically saying, I'm only going to like show you affection or treat you with care or make it seem like it's a safe space if whatever you're saying is something that I agree with. And yes, when somebody's saying something that feels like a criticism for you or for your relationship, it is hard to be affectionate, but that like push and pull that he does physically, to me, is like this subconscious messaging that like, oh, you agree with I agree with what you're saying. Great, approval. I don't agree with what you're saying. I'm taking my affection away. It's so subtle, but it's very clear what he's doing. I'm not saying it's intentional, but to me, it was clear. So basically she says, you know, she doesn't feel seen by him. She feels like at this point, they're not building on something that is strong enough to want to continue on the outside. He says, what does he say? I don't know. I feel like there are so many reasons why this relationship doesn't make sense. To me, it's pointless to want to keep things going. The experts ask him point blank, hey, do you want to be with her? And he says, yeah, I do. And then when she's asked the question, she's waffling a little bit because she's trying to rationalize things. But eventually she says yes. And I'm just like, no. You guys should not be together. I do understand that like the sexual connection, I guess, is just so strong that they both cannot let that go for the time being. But outside of that, then what? Like, you're acting like you're having sex 24/7. You have sex in the smallest amount of time of the day. That's probably the shortest task you do all day long. What about the rest of the day? Come on. You have to build your relationship on more than just that. For most of the time that Athena was talking, Adrian was smirking. He was looking around the room, not really paying attention to what was being said by Athena. And for me, that dismissiveness alone would have been enough to say, you know what? I'm done. I wash my hands of this. And again, I keep thinking this girl has a kid at home. I'll be damned if I'm taking time away from my kid to be with this guy. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Then John calls out, what's his name again? Adrian, for being combative. And he denies that by way of being combative. And it's like, yeah, I don't know what it is with Adrian. Obviously, he wants to be elsewhere. And we're going to talk about that real soon. He definitely does not want to be with Athena, but Athena's going to fight for it. So here we go. Last on the couch is Billy and Sierra. So as we know, Billy and Sierra had sex on the honeymoon, but hadn't had sex until the night before the commitment ceremony, right? So he's thinking everything's great. And then Sierra starts to act weird. Miraculously, after they've had sex, the tone between them has changed. So now on the couch, they're hashing out what is going wrong in their relationship.
What's happening? Are you feeling disconnected as a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah. You chose to bring sex back into the equation.
An emotional connection is massive for me.
And I get the emotional bond thing. I want that too, and I think we have a pretty good bond so far, but it's a friends thing. It's not just about the sex. It's like holding my hand, putting your arm over me, like playing with my hair.
What are you doing to help build the emotional connection with Billy?
I still need to speak more about like things that have happened in my past.
Have you opened up to anybody else in the group about your past and past experiences?
Ash and Adrian, actually, I had.
Did you open up?
Yeah. Oh.
I just don't want him to be put off or think I'm damaged goods. I think that's probably a big thing.
But I wouldn't think that.
Initially, I thought the first time that Sierra and Billy had sex, it was probably due to like just a tipsy, oh my gosh, we got carried away situation. But she confirms that this time, it definitely was that. What did she say? Like a drunken stumble or something? And I was like, yikes. Because then Billy, although I don't believe him, he says, oh, I thought it was romantic and there was passion and feeling. And she was like, like, yeah, we do connect because we naturally have that vibe between us. We have similar energy. But in terms of it being a romantic experience, like, no. It was just a thing that we were doing. She says at this point, they're basically stuck in the friend zone, and Billy believes that there's something she is keeping from him, and he feels like in order to connect, he needs that vulnerability to come from her the same way that it has come from him. And so we learned that whatever it is that she's going through, she has shared with Adrian, of all people. So then she's like, oh no, but I told you I had that conversation with Adrian. And I was like, now, Sierra, don't do this. Because you're telling me there's something that's so big that you find it hard to share with your partner, but you were able to share it with somebody else. And now you can't recall whether or not you told Billy about that conversation with Adrian. I was like, okay, so you're now starting to play in his face too. I think Billy's playing in her face. I don't think he likes her like that. But I think now she's playing in his face as well. Then Adrian is like, yeah, we did have that conversation. I opened up about my stuff too. And then Athena's like, huh? What do you mean? Because you weren't opening up to me, but you're opening up to Sierra? Like, what's the deal? At first, I was thinking the show was trying to tease an affair. And maybe they're still trying to do that. But at this point, for me, it kind of was just like, they obviously can be vulnerable with people who aren't their partner. I think that Billy not giving her that affection is making her just like shut down. And I don't necessarily think that means that she's going to then go and try to explore something with Adrian. I think that she just needed somebody, some kind of validation, some kind of safe space to land. And the fact that that was Adrian is still surprising to me, but it is what it is. And then with Athena, girl, that is the wake-up call that you need. You have tried and tried and tried. And this man has deliberately not tried with you because clearly he can try with somebody else. And I love that the experts called out the fact that it was a cop-out for him to say, oh, well, I was able to open up with Sierra because there weren't cameras on me and I didn't feel the pressure. BS. I even said that too. I said he could have written down the letter, decided I don't want to share this with you right now, and then do it off camera, but he didn't do that. And the experts were like, when you guys go to bed, the cameras leave. So you could have opened up. You could have. He could have. But he didn't even do the exercise at all because he doesn't like Athena. He doesn't want to be with Athena. I think Sierra has more of a chance to explore things with Billy. It's just up to Billy to forge that connection with her more because he's starting to lose her. But anyways, we will see. In the next episode, there's more from Jackie and Ryan. Guys, if I end up stopping to talk about whatever. If miraculously you find out that Ryan and Jackie have been left from the recaps, it's because I'm sick and tired of their relationship. Like, I know there's couples who are producer plants, and damn near all of them, honestly. But this one is too clear. It's way too clear for me. Like, even the immersion, the immersion of watching a reality show, the illusion of it being real is taken away with this couple. I just can't. I just cannot. Anyways, those are my thoughts. So, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.